Let's go. Share. Right. Hello, everybody. This is going to be a recording of the orientation meeting for the volunteer group of summer 2025 for ABA World. So the original recording was lost, so I'm just re-presenting the PowerPoint for the people that were not able to attend. We have now way more than 200 members. This is the agenda, a little bit about autism prevalence according to the latest report from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And then the plans ABA World has for 25 and 26, the volunteer opportunities, and some discussion. So this volunteer group is mostly located in Nigeria. In Lagos is 36%. There is some people in Houston, but there is people in other countries as well. I know there is Canada, Philippines, Kenya, UK, a few other countries. We have a lot of students and also a lot of professionals, parents, self-advocates, also about 10% are people that have autism. You know, when we ask, are you willing to contribute 2 hours every other month? Everybody said yes. I was the only person there that said no, I was just testing. And people were willing to give more. So 2 to 4 hours every month. So it was like double. Half of the people were, said, yes, I will give you double what you ask. And then there was people with even more than that. We are so grateful. The 55% said they would like to volunteer either in person or via telehealth. And there was some people in person, they had a preference, and some others only via telehealth. This was very surprising. 62% of the volunteers, they do have some experience in behavior analysis or related fields. And most of the people heard about us from a friend, but there was a large percentage that heard from social media. So that's good. Now, for the people that don't know much about autism, it's a spectrum. It's a neurodevelopmental condition that can cause significant social communication and behavioral challenges. We see kids with autism are very unique, very different from one another. Some people we don't like that they have classified, the autism spectrum disorder. They just put all, as the old Asperger's, PDD-NOS, like in one category. Like it's a spectrum, but still it's all autism now. And people have different abilities. There is some people, on the high end of the spectrum that have beautiful brains, very creative. They say that, Bill Gates may be on the spectrum, or Elon Musk is on the spectrum. But there is many people working in NASA, scientists. I have friends, that are on the spectrum. Typically, when somebody says, "Oh, my brother has autism," or "I have a friend who has autism," or "this person's kid had autism," the first thing that comes to mind is not the brilliant brains. And this is something that we would like to change. Here is a contrast. One of the students prepared the slides. Is a contrast of a kid that is typically developing and a kid that may be on the spectrum. And this is more like classic autism. So the typical kid, when he's around 3 years old, he may be putting some lips together and call his mom and say like, "Hey, mom, look what I did." So trying to communicate, proud of himself. A kid on the spectrum, a typical autism behavior may be this repetitive play with the lips, not really functional play, not pretend play, but rather repetitive movements and no communication with others or minimal. Eye contact is one of the characteristics of classic autism that kids on the spectrum may avoid eye contact. They may have difficulty understanding other people's feelings or talk about their feelings relative to typical kids. They may have trouble during pretend play. But again, one person with autism can be very, very different from another. So this is why we have the spectrum, the autistic spectrum. So there is a big range of abilities. Oops, going back. So this is a story of a young man who is now in Lagos. And when he was very young, his mom left because the stigma was too much, was too difficult for her. And after she left him, his dad died. So his uncle here took care of him, and he saw that he liked to smell and like play, touch the shoes that he was repairing. So he taught him how to. And although he's nonverbal, he knows and he's helping his uncle at, making some extra money from repairing shoes. And he still does this in Legos. So this is a true story. It's wonderful that Abubakar, the uncle, took care of his nephew, but it's not always like a happy ending story for everybody in the community. So if the stigma was not so evident, maybe his mom would not have left. Maybe his life would have been better. Just a few more facts about autism that we don't have much time is that it is affecting the development. It's developmental disability. It's not contagious. It has nothing to do with parenting, with the mother being anyway, like parenting does not cause autism. It is not caused by vaccines. And until now, we really do not know what is the cause for autism. So there is a great need for research. I think one of the slides that I would like you to remember is this one. So here on the x-axis, we have the years. So it starts from 1970 until 22 is the last year. And then on the y-axis, we see, it's not there, but we see the prevalence for autism. So in 1970, one in every, so this is 25 years ago, one in 10,000 children had autism. Like go now in 2000, one in every 150 children. From 2000, the last 22 years, we have 384 increase in the prevalence. So the 2022 study found one in every 31 children. This was 8-year-old and 4-year-old children. Very comprehensive study. I mean, this is as good as it gets across the United States. So this is US data. It's scary. It's scary to see the trends and how it will, impact, how it does impact everybody's life. Many people say this is the new norm. This is what we, evolution. What about Nigeria? There is not a lot of money for research in Nigeria. So the studies done, the professors are paying for their own internet and data. There is a great need, but the studies that we have show us that it is not much different. Yes, there is less prevalence, and depending on the area, depending on the study, but it's not much different. There is a lot of discussion that we could do about studies and need, and one of the purposes of this group is to support further publications on autism, both understanding what is the problem, as well as interventions. So in Nigeria, with the least and most restrictive criteria, we say that between 1.5 and 5.5 million kids are on the autism spectrum. And I was preparing this presentation for somebody in Calabar, so this is the numbers. There is a lot of kids, there is a lot of people in Abuja, in Lagos, a lot of kids that are not diagnosed. Early diagnosis is very important because it leads to early intervention. And early intervention has big advantages for the children. There is lines of research that show that even neuronormalization, there is Fain has a line of research that shows that the brains are so plastic when the kids are young that they can reverse some symptoms and development accelerates. So it is extremely important for children to start intervention as early as possible, but you see it is different. It's difficult if parents are on denial or they're scared, they don't want to believe, they don't know where to go, they don't know what to do. So we need to create the conditions under which the kids will have best outcomes. We need screening and diagnostic tools to be developed, to be culturally sensitive for various regions. There is a lot of research that needs to be done. With ABA World, we have been delivering presentations across different countries, providing one-on-one services to families who cannot afford to pay. And we collaborate with as many NGOs, educational ABA programs or schools, hospitals, professionals, supervise and disseminate behavior analysis anywhere possible. We love to participate in research and some of the interest groups. We have a discussion paper that we are working on a manuscript right now. We are doing a literature review. Some other ideas was included screening tool validation, collaboration with universities across the 6 regions in Nigeria is one of the goals. And some other thoughts was to continue the educational presentations. We want to see what is the interest of the volunteers. So the volunteers can complete the form and indicate if any of these or any additional special interest groups, SIG is special interest groups that may be interesting to you. So if you can complete the questionnaire that indicates what is your interest for research and special interest group, then we will follow with an email and assign you to a group that aligns with your interests. And we will go from there. This is another event that we are planning, I believe, sometime in September. This is our website, the references. Thank you.